The time is 6 p.m., so I would like to call to order the Norwood City School District Board of Education meeting. Today is Thursday, May the 16th. The Norwood City School District Board of Education follows a bi-monthly meeting schedule. The first meeting of the month is called our committee meeting. At this meeting, we discuss fully our agenda for the board meeting to be held the third Thursday of each month. As board members, we encourage you to attend, watch, and listen to our committee discussion resulting in action at the board meetings. For full disclosure, our committee meetings and board meetings are always announced, video and audio taped, as well as posted to our webpage for your view. All of our meetings are public and visitors are welcome. Mrs. Camphouse, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Atwood.
Present.
Ms. Ballard.
Present.
Mrs. Rarica.
Present.
Mr. Taylor.
Present.
Mrs. Cole.
Present. If you would please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 1.04 on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda. Do I have a motion to adopt?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Mrs. Camphouse?
Mr. Atwood.
Yes.
Ms. Ballard.
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Mrs. Cole.
Yes. With our adoption, the adoption of the agenda approved, we can move on. 1.05, these are the minutes from the regular meeting held April the 18th. 1.06, these are the minutes from the Finance Committee meeting on May the 7th. 1.07, the committee meeting minutes from May the 7th. Do I have a motion to approve 1.05 through 1.07?
All motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Mrs. Camphouse?
Mr. Atwood.
Yes.
Ms. Ballard.
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Mrs. Cole.
Yes. Okay, we can move on now with item 2. This is our presentation section. So we are going to have our rising stars. So Mrs. Amanda Havlin will be coming up to do this part of our presentation.
All right, so we are proud to announce Kalani Gallardo as this month's Rising Star student from Sharpsburg Elementary and Primary Schools. Kalani is a first grader who is eager to learn. She walks in with a great smile each morning and enthusiastically cheerful to start her day. She is a model PACS leader who initiates a peaceful learning environment around her. Kalani is a hard worker that is self-driven to explore her curiosity of learning new things. The growth progression that Kalani exhibits is astounding. She deeply cares about her classmates and is a true friend. Her teachers are thrilled to have her as a role model for what a first grader represents. We are proud of the tremendous effort Kalani pours out each and every day she is here at school. We are excited to see Kalani represent Sharpsburg Primary as a rising star. Congratulations. Polina, oh, I'm so sorry. Thank you. No problem. Thank you for that. And you can stay up here. You can stay up here, okay? Yeah, perfect. All right, Norwood View Elementary School, rising star is Aaliyah Winkler. The fourth grade teachers at Norwood View have chosen Aaliyah Winkler as their May Rising Star student. Aaliyah is a wonderful student that exemplifies respect, commitment, and integrity. Aaliyah is very respectful to others. She is always willing to help classmates and her teachers. She greets her teachers with a warm hug and a smile every morning. Aaliyah is prepared for class. She has a strong desire to do well and is willing to put in the effort needed to be successful. She doesn't hesitate to ask questions, and when faced with challenges, she has shown herself to be brave and resilient. Aaliyah is very kind and respectful to her teachers, other students, and the staff at VIEW. We are very proud of Aaliyah. We know that, yeah. Congratulations. All right. Williams Avenue Elementary Rising Star, Kane Carter. Yeah, it's working now. All right. Kane has been wonderful to have in preschool. He is always happy to come to school and excited to see his friends and teachers. He has been working hard on his preschool academics and has grown so much. He always tries his best and has a good attitude. Kane is a kind, silly, sweet friend to all his peers in his class. He makes everyone feel included during play and centers. Since this was his second year of preschool, Kane has been a great role model to the younger students in the class and has shown them how to be a great preschooler. He cares about his classroom and tries to help his teachers and friends when he can. He likes being part of the school community and getting to see his brother and sister at school. We will miss him next year, but we are sure he is going to do great things next year in kindergarten and beyond. Congratulations. For me, Mayor? Oh, go back one more, I think. There we go. Just having some technical issues there. Okay. We are proud to present the Norwood Montessori School Rising Star student, Anderson Alsip. It is with great pride and pleasure that the Norwood Montessori School announces Anderson Alsip as our May Rising Star. As a first grader, Anderson's love for learning exudes from the moment he enters the classroom as he gets right to work, trying to complete all of his work for the day. He loves researching and can be found deep in concentration on topics that interest him, like animals, space, and his favorite dinosaurs. Anderson is also a kind-hearted, loving Montessorian who lives out taking care of all living things each day. On any given day, you would see him working with others, offering to lend a hand, and sharing his infectious smile with all those that he sees. Anderson is a beautiful light that shines brightly within our Montessori school, and we are so proud of him. For these reasons and so many others, we are proud to have Anderson as our May Rising Star. Congratulations, Anderson. Norwood Middle School Rising Star, Kumar Hardy Rashid. Kumar is an exemplary student at Norwood Middle School. He is always ready for class and even brings backup supplies. He is responsible for his learning by keeping track of deadlines and working his hardest to turn assignments in on time. Kumar is a model student, and he treats his classmates with respect every day. Kumar is a joy to have in class and a fantastic example of what makes Norwood Middle School great. Congratulations. Norwood High School Rising Star student Aiden Bell. Aiden Bell is a senior in Mr. Ruoff's CCP English class who has consistently excelled. He won the Golden Pen, which is the highest honor a student writer can achieve in class. He did arrive on day one as a good writer, but he also invested himself in the writing instruction Mr. Ruoff provided, as well as the opportunities to work with him in their writing center during advisory time. And he's leaving the CCP class ready to write the type of higher level research-driven essays that will be required of him, not as a freshman, but as a second or third year college student taking classes in his major. That's the level he is now as a writer. It was a privilege working with and learning alongside Aiden this year, and it will be exciting to see what he accomplishes in college for the next years to come. Aiden is a prime example of what makes Norwood High School and the Norwood City School District shine bright. Congratulations. District Athletic Rising Star, Brandon Williamson. I'm not sure that Brandon's here today, but we're going to still read all the great things about Brandon. Brandon has a consistent and Brandon has been a consistent and key contributor to the Norwood track and field team all season. His efforts have not gone unnoticed by his coaches either. The week of April 22nd, he was nominated for the Miami Valley Conference Student Athlete of the Week for his performance at the Deer Park Invitational Track Meet. At that meet, he ran a personal best in the 400-meter run. We look forward to watching Brandon's star continue to rise. So families, at this time, we're going to have Miss Cornelius take some pictures of our Rising Stars students with the board members, and then you will have an opportunity to go out into the hall with your kiddos, and Miss Cornelius can take some pictures with your whole family as well. Thank you so much. Congratulations, Rising Stars.
Christina usually do this. Let's see. Yeah, I got you. Tell you what, guys. Not my expertise. No, you're good, right there. No, it's perfect. Come right here. There we go. You guys. Okay. We're in here. Oh. One, two, three. Smile big, guys. Go. Do another one. One, two, three. Thank you so much.
So if you want to head out into this hallway out here, Miss Cornelius will take some pictures with you, with your child if you would like. Thank you so much for coming.
Probably the best picture yet. It's a parent. I don't know who's in charge of making that happen, but I was glad when it happened.
Yeah, I would like to have an arts presentation. Yeah, we had an art show. It should have been one of the seniors.
Although I think last month we had one of the seniors, but still, I mean, do another one.
We're supposed to do one every month. We're supposed to do one every month.
I don't. It started happening, and I was like, "That's awesome," but I don't know what it does.
Moving on with our agenda, item 3, this is personnel, superintendent recommendations. So I will turn it over to Superintendent Ronan.
Thank you, Madam President. Under resignations, we have 3, Byron, Raylan, and Haley, and we want to thank them for their service to the students of Norwood, and they will definitely be missed. And we also have a non-renewal of a student aide. That's only because they were left off at the last meeting, and they'll be reemployed later this evening. And I believe we need a voting box right there after the resignations.
You want to do that?
Yes,
Okay.
so let's,
Okay.
yes, could we take a vote?
Sure.
To
Mrs.
approve?
Camphouse?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve 3.01.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Mrs. Camphouse?
Mr. Atwood,
Yes.
Ms. Ballard,
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mrs. Cole.
Yes.
All right, under the section of employment, we have several administrative contracts up for renewal, and we'd also like to welcome Amanda Blanton. I believe you all met her last week. She is our new high school, middle school assistant principal. In the next section, this is our list of teachers moving on to continuing contract in the district. Underneath that, that's our personnel on third-year contract. The next page is our personnel on a second-year contract. And I don't think we need the voting box. That's the missing voting box we have here. I apologize. Board docs was tricky this week. And then the next section is welcome to our new staff members. So I will stop there, and could we vote on, have a vote of approval of our new staff members?
I'll motion to approve.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
I'll be abstaining from this vote.
Mrs. Camp House?
Mr. Atwood?
Abstain.
Ms. Ballard?
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mrs. Cole?
Yes.
All right, section number 2. It's a lengthy report tonight. This is the annual renewal of all of our age, so they are assured employment for the next year. Then on item number 3, summer school, the hiring for summer school continues in item 3. In item 4, we have a number of individuals whose status is changing in the district. Amy Crouch, she's doing a job share. And on the next page, as you can see, Reed is moving from a teacher to a counselor. And then on number 5, Stephanie Parker is the other half of the job share, and she is a rehire. She'll be job sharing with Amy. Then number 6, we're always delighted to have a classified sub to add to our list who helps us out when we have staff absences. Number 7 is Joe Lockett was gracious enough to be the DJ for our prom. Also, it was in an event venue in Colerain, which is why we had to hire a security person from the Colerain Police Department. And number 9, band camp is taking place this summer. And Diane Prater, thank you. She always goes along as our health aide to take care of our students. Number 10, avenues for success. These are all of our summer workers who are going to be on site to help with our summer camp program. And then item number 11, we only have one, and that's for Maddie Baker to be the high school, middle school cross-country coach. So, yes, that concludes my report.
Mrs. Ronan, I apologize. It looks like Brittany Geraci is under status, and it didn't print on the form. It is correct?
Oh.
Online.
Oh, it didn't print out on
It
this.
didn't print on the form, on our agenda.
Yes.
But Brittany
Okay.
Geraci is returned from childcare.
So, thank you, yes. So then back up at item number 4, change of status. Brittany Geraci is returning from a leave of absence, and she is going to be our student data and enrollment individual half-time.
I apologize.
Do I have a motion to approve subject 3.02, items 2 through 11?
I'll motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Mr. Taylor and I will be abstaining from this vote. Mrs. Camp House?
Mr. Atwood?
Yes.
Ms. Ballard?
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Abstain.
Mrs. Cole?
Abstain. Okay. We can move on now. Item 4 on the agenda. This is our Education Committee, and I will turn it over to Mrs. Rarica.
We have our field trips, and I love telling everybody about them. And there they are. Sharpsburg's going to Shepherd Chemical, Williams Avenue going to Green Acres Water Testing Facility, Sharpsburg also going to the planetarium and the ballpark, the Great American Ballpark, and the Norwood High School Marching Band is going to band camp.
Do I have a motion to
Oh.
approve 4.01?
All motion to approve the field trips.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
I always forget.
Mrs. Camp House?
Mr. Atwood,
Yes.
Miss Ballard,
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mrs. Cole.
Yes.
Okay, next we have our ELA Amplify adoption, and we heard all about this. The governor has made what's it called again?
Science of reading.
Science of Reading. And they showed us some books, and I'd like to motion that we approve this curriculum that they showed us.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Mrs. Camp House?
Mr. Atwood,
Yes.
Miss Ballard,
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mrs. Cole.
Yes. All right, with that approved, we can move on to item 5 on the agenda. This is the Policy Committee report, and I will turn it over to Vice President Taylor.
Thank you, Madam President. We just have one policy for our second reading, which is going to be IGBEA-R, Reading Skills Assessment and Intervention. It has been updated to reflect House Bill 101 changes which strengthen language and provide clarity around what the current law requires. It also removes references to phase-in options that are no longer applicable. I'd like to make a motion that we accept the second reading of IGBEA-R.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Mrs. Camp House?
Mr. Atwood,
Yes.
Miss Ballard,
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mrs. Cole.
Yes. Okay, continuing on, item 6, this is our Building and Grounds Committee, and I will turn it over to Ms. Ballard.
Thank you, Madam President. We have one usage request in from New Mercies Ministries to use the Norwood Middle School parking lot for a prayer drive-through and celebration for their graduates. They'd like usage on Saturday, May 25th, between 10 and 3. Access from 10 to 3, with the event taking place between 12 and 2. And I would like to make a motion that we approve this request, especially considering Andrew Clark is the pastor of that church. He is a former Norwood graduate, and they do a lot for this community, him and his mother, Vicki.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Mrs. Camp House?
Mr. Atwood,
Yes.
Miss Ballard,
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mrs. Cole.
Yes. Okay, with that approved, item 7 on the agenda, this is our Finance Committee report, and I will turn it over to our treasurer, Mrs. Camp House.
Thank you, Madam President. The financial reports are attached for your review and approval, as well as the change order listings. 7.02 are appropriation resolution, our current budget for your approval. 7.03 are 5-year forecasts and assumptions. Our May 5-year forecast for your approval. I will file this with Ohio Department of Education and Workforce tomorrow. 7.04 certificate of substantial completion for Norwood View and Williams roof replacements. We are finally at the substantial completion stage for that project. 7.05 special ed agreements fiscal year 25 for next year. We have 2 contracts for students that qualify through IEP. 7.06 playground safety improvements. To approve purchase amounts to upgrade and improve safety measures in the following playgrounds: Williams Preschool up to $50,000, Montessori up to $50,000, and View Preschool up to $30,000. 7.07 change order for Shea Stadium project, to approve a change order for $47,754 for additional electrical and steel installation needs to install at the new scoreboard. We knew when we approved the scoreboard as a change order that we were going to have additional costs. We just didn't know what it was going to be yet. We're finally at the stage where they're wrapping up the final project costs, and this is a change order I need approved. 7.08 ELA resources 6-year adoption. You're approving the purchase of the ELA curriculum. This is our last major curriculum adoption for a couple of years. Since receiving ESSER funding, we have managed to update all major curriculum all of our major curriculum. The state will fund a small portion of this cost since it is a mandated cost. That is everything I have for finance.
Do I have a motion to approve 7.01 through 7.08?
I'll motion.
Then I'll second.
Any discussion?
I do have a couple of items that I just want to touch on. The first is 7.03, the five-year forecast. I just want to thank Treasurer Camphouse and her team for that. If you go back historically and look at our five-year forecasts over time, they are incredibly accurate. I mean, within a fraction of a percent to what the actual numbers are as they come out for the years that are close to. Now, once you get out 5 years, it's a guessing game, but as we dial into those close years, the Treasurer's Office does a fantastic job at reining that in. I'd also like to point out in that five-year forecast, if you kind of look at the news and see what's going on with other districts, you have a lot of districts that are facing the ESSER cliff, which we have been talking about for a long period of time. And we have managed, through great fiscal responsibility, to kind of flatten that ESSER cliff greatly, so that way we're not as impacted as much as other school districts are impacted. So I just want to thank the Treasurer's Department, and I'd also like to thank Superintendent Ronan for a lot of the heavy lifting in that as well. The other thing I want to touch on is the change order to Shea Stadium, that $45,000. We knew that's a significant change order, but we knew that that was going to be necessary for moving the scoreboard from the right side of the field to the left side of the field as you're looking at the field. And so I'm just glad that it's at where it is. I'm glad it's not more than that, to be honest with you. And then the last thing that I want to touch on is the adoption of the curriculum. And if I'm not mistaken, Treasurer Campbell, this is the last of the ESSER funds, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
It's done.
So just so that everybody understands, it's almost $500,000 just for the core Amplify curriculum, and then, another $90,000 for the SABAS for the 6th through 8, and $115,000 for the SABAS for the 9th through 12. And, we're talking about, $800,000 when you add it all up of spend, when the state is only reimbursing us $90,000. So, I'm glad we're able to use that ESSER funds responsibly for things like this. Those are the things I just wanted to highlight. Thank you, Madam President.
Sure. I'll add that we're not just picking a new curriculum. The state is mandating that everybody do it. And so we have to do this. And so we're really lucky we still had our ESSER funds to do that with. Other schools have not been as lucky as us. We talked to people at BLI who told us their stories of doing it, and it wasn't as good as ours. And I want to mention about the scoreboard. We didn't willy-nilly move it from one side to the other. Like, I know people might say, why'd you move it? And there's a really good reason, and it's because it's really, really dangerous where it was. There are power lines, and the people who go up there risk getting electrocuted. So we are moving it for safety. Really
And-
important reason.
And if anybody is interested for more details on any of these things, if you watch our committee meeting last week, the five-year forecast was discussed in depth. The new curriculum was discussed in depth. So sometimes I think, folks may tune in and just think, it just moves so quickly, but these things are fully vetted at our committee meetings. So just a friendly reminder that information exists out there if anybody's interested in more information. Any other discussion? Mrs. Camphouse?
Mr. Atwood?
Yes.
Mrs. Ballard?
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mrs. Cole?
Yes. All right, with finance concluded, we are on to the hearing of the public, and we do not have any members of the public that wish to speak today. So with that, we can move on to section 9, which is the reports section. 9.01, board announcements. Does anybody have any announcements?
I do.
Go ahead, Ms. Ballard.
First of all, I got to face paint at the Sharpsburg Carnival.
Yay!
And that was just one of the best things that I get to do all year long. I had some great kiddos, lines the entire time. The PTO did a great job with that event, and I appreciate them involving me And I volunteer my time, and I like to be able to cross my worlds a little bit and go face paint for them. The other thing that I got to do recently is, Alice mentioned, is I got to attend BLI. And thanks to the work that I do with Great Oaks, I was able to present for the first time. And that went over extremely well. We were talking about board dynamics and building DEI committees and what that structure kind of looks like for a large board like ours, because we have 35 members. And even Kathy McFarland was there from the state and commented on how well it was done. And they've asked us to step in at the fall conference should anybody drop out. We didn't apply to teach at that one. We wanted to see how this one went. And they came up and approached us to ask if we would be able to be a backup. So
That's good.
It was just a really great experience to be able to teach for the first time and present with my team. And I hope I get to do it again. So thank you guys for supporting that going forward.
I concur that it was really nice, and I learned stuff. Stuff is such a blah word. I learned a lot, and it was really interesting, and I was so proud. I was like, Norwood, there's Norwood. She's our girl.
We have graduation coming up next week, Wednesday. You do need tickets, but there are plenty of tickets available, so reach out to the high school or any of us, and we can help you with that.
Williams also had a carnival, and I got to be the conductor of a blow-up inflatable maze thing.
Oh.
It was exhausting. Trying to get really little kids to wait their turn. It's a lot. I had a lot of fun though.
I do have one thing. So tonight before the board meeting, the Norwood Montessori School had what they called a visioning night, and just kind of like a welcome night for some of the new families. Mary and I were able to attend that right before this meeting and just kind of share a few words about our school district.
Great.
So,
Awesome.
Any other board announcements? Oh, tomorrow is signing day for our seniors. I think it's 10 o'clock in this room. And then they're having their picnic tomorrow.
I wrote some letters to some seniors. You guys write your letters?
I have not done that yet, but I will do that.
This was my first year that I really knew some kids.
All right, anything else? Okay, we can move on. 9.02, this is our superintendent's report, so I will turn it over to Mrs. Roman.
Thank you, Madam President. May is always a great month. It's great to see all of our students. So one of the activities that happened is the Norwood Scholarship Foundation Award Ceremony. This is a picture of our college-bound seniors who have received monies for tuition from the Norwood Scholarship Foundation. As you can see, $270,000. I just really don't know of any other district who provides that kind of monetary support for the students. And you can see that one girl grasping the envelope. That's the envelope that contains the letter telling them how much money they're getting and from which scholarship. So it is always just a very, very lovely event. Now, at this event, it was interesting. Mrs. Eads, our first grade teacher at Sharpsburg, shows up because she's actually presenting the W. Clark Eads Family Scholarship. And it turns out the committee, unbeknownst to Mrs. Eads, gave it to Montserrat. And it turns out Mrs. Eads had taught her in first grade. So as you can see, there's her first grade picture in Mrs. Eads' room, and here's the selfie with Mrs. Eads as she got the Eads Family Scholarship. So that was just really lovely and touching. Next we have, this was also the induction to the National Junior Honor Society. And it took place this month also. The parents were in the audience, and actually the students ran the program, so they're already student leaders, and they explained what being in the National Honor Society meant to them. Again, just a lovely celebration. And last, here are our students who, it's actually the athletic signing. These are our students who are going off to college on sports scholarships. We're just so proud of our students, and we wish them well. And you can see they're going to half a dozen different universities. So that took place last week also. So as you can see, we've had some wonderful festivities and really are very, very proud of our students. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Renner. All right, 9.03, this is the Great Oaks report, and I will turn it over to Ms. Ballard.
Thank you, Madam President. May is a very busy month, as you might suspect, as it is for most schools. Last night was the Scarlet Oaks graduation ceremony at NKU's Trist Arena. So we want to wish all of our graduating seniors who received their credentialing last night a big congratulations. Tonight is the Live and Diamond Oaks ceremonies. They're happening right now. They were doing back-to-back ceremonies this evening also at Trist Arena. And students also had a recognition dinner at our meeting on May 8th, who celebrated all of the students who got additional awards and scholarships from all 4 of our campuses. I do not know the dollar amount, but I don't even want to begin to guess. We had a lot of students awarded and recognized that night. On the May Student Spotlight, we had 2 students to recognize. Tyler Lampy received his welding certification. These are our Norwood students. And Tatum Cotterman from the Digital Arts and Design won gold at the recent art show during the Skills USA State Competition. So congratulations to both of our May Student Spotlights. As for an admin update, our own Emma Godfrey will be coming back to the Great Oaks family. She stepped down from here, and she's coming back to us as a dean, as an assistant dean on one of our campuses. Former Norwood educator Andy Hagzima will be moving into the Safety Service Director position as he trains his successor, and he will also be, he announced his retirement plans for 2025. So for students like me who had Mr. Hagzima back in the day, he plans to retire next year, but he's still going strong one more season at Great Oaks. Our treasurer, Brian Rabe, received the State Auditor's Award for Excellence in our bookkeeping and financial management, which only about 5% of the state's schools receive this award. Brian also took a stint as Norwood's treasurer several years back, so it was really great to be recognized in that capacity. And like I said, we had our graduation ceremony last night, and we had our Laurel Oaks students graduated on Tuesday night as well. And that concludes my report.
Great, thanks, Ms. Ballard. 9.04 is Norwood Community Television, and we do not have an update this month. So Ms. Ballard, I'm going to put it back to you for 9.05, the legislative liaison.
Thank you very much. We had a very, very busy month into April and early May. A lot of this is still in the works, so it's like 6 pages long. I'm not going to read you all of that. I'm going to hit the highlights for now. Higher Education Committee met and heard sponsorship testimony on House Bill 219. This legislation will revise and make changes to the College Credit Plus program. OSBA offered proponent testimony alongside the Buckeye Association of School Administrators, as well as several other offices. We are awaiting changes on that to see how it will impact our College Credit Plus programming. The state Senate bill passed House Bill 250, which will revise military enlistment seals and rename it the military seal. It was voted 32-0, so that bill will head to the House for consideration and any amendments. This will be more in effect for us at Great Oaks. House Bill 70 passed with a vote of 92-1, and this bill will require us to adopt a policy regarding administration of over-the-counter medications. So I'm sure that'll be something we'll be looking at this summer. The House also passed House Bill 230. This bill will require districts to provide age-appropriate research-based instruction on the dangers of fentanyl to students grades K through 12, beginning in the 24-25 school year. This bill also requires districts to designate a week during the school year as Fentanyl Poisoning Awareness Week as part of their education efforts. Both of these bills are now headed to the Senate for consideration. And like I said, I've got a ton more that are still in process, so I'll probably report on those as they grow.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ms. Ballard. 9.06, this is Avenues for Success, and I will turn it over to Mrs. Rarica.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam President. Avenues for Success, as you know, when they switch over to summer, they have their summer camp. So for the older kids, grades 7 through 12, they have summer tour programs where they go on field trips every day. And for the younger ones, they have Summer Blast Camp. And all this can be found at avenuesforsuccess.net. .net. That's hard to remember because it's not the usual. And if you forget, you can look on Facebook and it says it there too. And reach out to Laura Ferguson if you need to and sign up at the website.
Okay.
That is all.
All right. Item 10 on the agenda, this is our future meeting notifications. So our next committee meeting will be Tuesday, June 11th at 6 p.m. at the board office on Williams. And then our regular meeting will be Thursday, June 27th, also at the board office on Williams. So for the summer months, when school is not in session, our board meeting takes place at the board office because we do not have our Rising Stars. So we will
Madam
be
President.
at that office. What's up?
I'm sorry, I'd ask the board to reconsider on June 27th.
Oh.
We changed that for me to make it easier for me to close the books. However, because it's the week after our normal Thursday board meeting, I would like to change it back to our normal Thursday board meeting because I did find out that the Hamilton County Auditor is asking for our ending fiscal documents on the 27th. And I cannot get to them until the board approves it on the 20th.
Okay. So what is the date now?
The normal.
So if you consider it on the 20th, which is our normal third Thursday.
Oh, okay. I didn't even catch that that was different. Okay, so the motion then would be Tuesday, June the 11th at the board office for committee, with the regular meeting being Thursday, June 20th, 6 p.m. at the board office. Do I have a motion for those dates?
All motion?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All right, Mrs. Camp House?
Mr. Atwood?
Yes.
Ms. Ballard?
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mrs. Cole?
Yes. Okay, with those dates approved, we can move on to item 11. This is executive session. In accordance with ORC 121.22G4, preparing for, conducting, or reviewing negotiations or bargaining sessions with public employees concerning their compensation. Do I have a motion to enter into executive session?
All motion?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Mrs. Camp House?
Mr. Atwood?
Yes.
Ms. Ballard?
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mrs. Cole?
Yes. The time is 6:42 and we are in executive session. Back from executive session. Item 12 on the agenda is adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
A motion?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The time is 7:13 and we are adjourned. Thank you.
Gotta get my kid.